Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to more minor league esports action brought to you by APM Music. My name is Anna Oddfellow. Joining me in the booth today is my very good friend, Riley Man. How you doing tonight, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm back for a second series, and this one is bound to be a banger of a series for everyone to watch.
Absolutely. We are looking at some Master League Threes action here between the Shadow and the Spectre. Rosters for these are we're going to be looking at Hame Game, Rainy Day, and Sir Hold Space for the Shadow, Maniac, Biscuit, and Jordan for the Spectre. This definitely is shaping up to be a very, very exciting game. The Shadow are coming into this with a 10-5 record already. The Spectre with 9-6. So only one game separating both of these teams. And I'm looking at that, Riley. This should be a very, very close matchup.
Yeah, I mean, based off the last series that we just watched, this should be another great series. The Spectre and the Shadow, like you said, only one game separates these guys, but we've got some interesting lineups going at it. We've got Biscuit and Maniac, two very good ML players. You have Jordan, who was part of the CL Spectre last season, who got moved up as part of the redistribution. He's been playing out of his mind lately. So I'm excited to see what they're going to bring forward here, and if they can really keep up with the Shadow or surpass them.
The big thing I'm going to be looking at actually is how Jordan is going to perform. Jordan's going to be a 16-5 play-in today, but he's not the lowest sal on the pitch. The lowest sal on the pitch is actually Rainy Day, sitting over there with his 15.5. But one of the main reasons that I'm looking at Jordan is because he's the only player on the current on the pitch right now for the Spectre that is not in their top performers for stats. Now, 99% of those stats are covered by Maniac, with Biscuit being on there with the OPI stat. However, Jordan is not on there at all, so I'll be very interested to see how he ends up holding up as Sir Hold Space gets a nice save there in front of the net.
Yeah, I mean, the Spectre team, they've undergone a lot of changes. They recently had another CL rank up who is not playing Ignite for the team, but is definitely a very capable force in a 2 setting. Maybe not so much in 3, so that's definitely why he's not here tonight. But we're going to see some great play from both these teams, the Spectre and the Shadow, going at it. Shadow trying to put a lot of offensive pressure here. Hold Space denied by Jordan, who has a chance to show that he can pull some offense out for this team. He's going to give up the ball to Hame Game. Hame Game gets denied by Biscuit. What a save.
And one of the reasons I'm always so excited to cast over Master League is it is the second highest league in all of MLE, so we're definitely should be seeing some very high-level play here. And speaking of Hame Game, able to slot that one in, ends up being a little bit of an own goal, but either way, fantastic shot placement there by Hame Game.
The classic Spectre shot. That ball wasn't even going in the net, but it went off the crossbar into Jordan and into the top corner and in. Spectre own goals. We love to see them. We also hate to see them, That's just the way Boonix runs this team.
I cannot believe you called it. That's fabulous. Speaking of goals, again, Sir Hold Space coming in with his first shot of the game here, finding the bottom left-hand corner. The defense from the Spectre just all out of whack there on the left-hand side of the pitch. So great shot placement there from Sir Hold Space. That defense from the Spectre has got to start tightening up a little bit.
Oh yeah, they definitely do. I mean, they just got out of position there, but they're able to get a little bit of pressure offensively, but it's just getting thwarted, whether by a demo or by a good clear. Rainy Day and Hame Game, they've really been holding their own there defensively. Hame Game with a very nice save, as I was just talking about his defense so far. But yeah, the Spectre, they need to get something going here. Probably just get some more offensive pressure, get some shots on net, keep the ball away from their goal, but this one's going to get cleared downfield and off the post and into the net. Just nobody back for the Spectre.
That's going to be the second goal of the game for Hame Game. And yeah, the Spectre just getting a little too overcommitted on that offensive push, end up getting beat over the top by a nice clear by Hame that ends up, unfortunately for the Spectre, being on target. So with 3 minutes and 13 seconds left to play here, Riley, there's still plenty of time left for the Spectre to make something happen here, but they have got to watch those overcommitments on offense.
Yeah, they got to watch that. They got to tighten up their rotations. Right now, they're just playing way too loose, and it's really catching them off guard. Jordan with a good shot, but another nice save by the Shadow. They're just coming out here and trying to show that they are the better team between these two teams, although they are only separated by 1 game. Jordan almost
Ooh.
gets that one in, but Biscuit's going to take advantage of the light touch by Jordan, and the Spectre have found themselves on the board there due to a great read by Jordan.
And this is a great little play here. Like you were saying, Jordan just dropping that right down in front of the net. It looked like he was maybe trying to go for a little bit of a doozy off the corner. But either way, his touch ended up being solid enough that it went just high enough that the defenders couldn't reach it. But that's going to be a great kickoff for the Shadow. Rainy Day trying to take advantage of it, but Biscuit is going to swoop in from the left side there and make the save. Biscuit's trying to keep that one to go. Jordan with a shot on, but Rainy Day is there to save it away. Now, the interesting thing here, Riley, is that the Shadow haven't really been doing anything crazy over the course of the first half of this game to lead to this now 2-goal lead that they have. They've just been taking advantage of the mistakes that the Spectre are making, and there's another one as the net opens up for the Shadow, and that's going to be Sir Hold Space now with his second goal of the game.
Yeah, you saw Jordan try to jump at that ball off the corner, and he just didn't get his flip right. Ended up missing the ball and flying out the midfield. And I don't know if that was Maniac or Biscuit who was sitting in net, but as soon as what was that? I don't remember who got
Sir Hold Space.
My bad. Yeah, Sir Hold Space got that touch. There was just no one there. The Shadow, they're just playing solid right now. They're getting good passes. They're getting the defenders out of position, and it's really working to their advantage right now. Biscuit gets a nice demo, gets this one to drop. Maniac not able to get it in, though. Rainy Day is going to take this one out for the Shadow.
Well, it's like I was saying right before that last goal was scored. All they're doing is just taking advantage of the mistakes that the Spectre are making, and they just haven't really made too many mistakes themselves, but there might be one as Maniac puts the second goal of the game on for the Spectre, and with a minute and a half left to play here, it's a 2-goal game. This is still very, very doable for the Spectre.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, all it took was a little bit of miscommunication there by the Shadow. It looked like Aim Game was going to get the touch, and Rainy Day was not expecting him to miss, and you just have to be ready for when things go wrong. What a pump by Aim Game as he almost gets one through the Spectre defense. But yeah, the Shadow, they're just playing solid right now. They're taking advantage of mistakes. They're finding the lanes that they need to find, and it's just working out very well for them right now.
Well, for the first 2.5 minutes of this game, it really looked like the Shadow just had the middle of the field on complete and utter lockdown. But for the last minute or so, the Spectre have been able to just break out of that and completely turn it on its head. And for most of threes, especially in these higher levels up in ML and PL, that midfield is really where you're going to see the game won or lost. Who's going to be able to control it the best? Who's going to be able to really make sure that the other team is not able to even get out of their own half? As Jordan gets it over the top of one defender. Rainy Day there waiting in the corner. Decent fake from Jordan. Leaves a little bit of offense here as Maniac tries to push it. Biscuit's now trying to shoot this one center. No other Spectre are going to be there as Hold Space sends that one towards the corner. Maniac towards the backboard. Biscuit going up. That's going to be both Shadow's defenders going and has a chance to fall in front again, but no Spectre is there to take advantage of it. All three defenders bunched up on that, so that was potentially a chance for the Spectre, but it ends up resulting in nothing as another save comes in from Haim Game.
Yeah, Haim Game just pulling out the defensive stops where they need it to. Aside from that one little mistake that's kind of kept the Spectre in this game, but right now they are almost out of time. They need to get a goal now, but that's not going to do it as Biscuit misses the ball. I think this game is over, fellow.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're at the last couple of seconds ticking down here. This is going to be a game one victory here for the Shadow. They're trying to see if they can get one last one, but unfortunately they're not going to be able to. So that is going to be a 4-2 victory for the Shadow here in game one, but it's only game one of a full 5-game set. So if those of you who are maybe just joining us that haven't been watching the rest of the night and have never seen MLE before, we do play all 5 games because when it comes to playoff seeding, every single game counts. It goes off who has the most games won, and the best way to make sure that everybody has a chance to get a good amount of games is by playing all 5 games. So you still win the series when you get to 3 wins out of the 5, but all 5 games are going to be played here. So we still have 4 more games to play. And I think the Spectre may come out swinging early here in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, with how they were coming out there in the back half of the game, they really started to turn things around. They got Shadow kind of out of position and managed to take advantage. We saw a great read off of that back wall by Jordan to drop the ball down perfectly to Biscuit, and that really started to turn things around because they were on the back foot. There was nothing going right for them, and then that happened. They got scored on, and then they responded immediately after by Maniac getting a goal off of very, bad mistake by the Shadow defense, but if they can keep this up, they will. I think they can come back and they can at least take game 2, maybe game 3. They just need to come out here and not just play solid. They need to watch those mistakes they're making there at the beginning of game 1.
I think the biggest thing for the Spectre here going into game 2 is going to be a little bit tighter on the rotations, maybe a little bit quicker as well, which tends to kind of lead to that tightness. But then also clears to pass, I think is going to be the biggest thing. Like they have to not just boom the ball out with no regard for where it's going other than away from their net. They have to be deliberate about it. And just passing in general, I want to see more passing between both of these teams. And I think we'll really start to see some of these defenses break down a little bit. Speaking of passing, Maniac trying to send that one center, but unfortunately not able to connect with a touch. Jordan getting a decent 50 into his left corner here. Rainy Day losing control of that one. Jordan's going to send that one out. Biscuit is coming for the follow-up, and right there, Jordan had a little bit of space. If he tries to control it and slow down the pace just a little bit instead of just smacking the ball towards the midfield and giving possession right away, I think the Spectre have a little bit of a better chance to set up a bit more of an effective offensive push than what they just got.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan's a smart player. I know he knows that is what he should have done, but he just didn't do it as Biscuit almost sneaks a goal in just off the post and out. And, you know, Jordan, he was my captain. He was my AGM last season for the Spectre in CL. He's a very knowledgeable guy. He knows how to get the best out of his players, and that's part of the reason why he's up in ML this season, and he's definitely here to prove that he belongs. He just needs to think the way that he has trained those players under him to think. So it's definitely something he's got to work on here if he wants his team to end up getting the win here in this series.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it wasn't an unintelligent play, and it's just that sometimes, like in the heat of the moment, like in the middle of it, you're not really thinking about all of that. You're just kind of like, oh God, the ball's in front of my net, I got to get it not here. And that kind of ends up being the difference between specifically ML and PL, is that quick thought process. You know, so Jordan's still a good player, still very intelligent, just maybe takes like half a second to recognize that he had a little bit of space there. But speaking of Jordan, is able to put his shot on here. What a save there from Sir Holdspace, able to kind of contort himself there in front of the net to be able to keep that one from going in. Rainy Day off the backboard, that's a shot on, going far post, but unfortunately no luck there for the Shadow, the Spectre. Trying to get another push going here. Biscuit was looking for a bump, wasn't quite able to connect. Maniac keeping this one in offensive play for the Spectre. Jordan gone off the corner. Rainy Day there to collect towards the left wing wall. Biscuit towards the net. Haim game waiting there. We've got a couple Spectre waiting to put shots on, but they're just So I like what they're doing here. They're going to the wall. They're going to the backboard. They're trying to keep the Shadow guessing where the shot is going to come from, but they're not like rotating tightly enough on offense to be able to take advantage of these initial touches and get good follow-ups when it's blocked.
Yeah, they're definitely struggling to get that second touch, get that third touch off of the initial touch to start the play. And the Shadow, they just have time to get in position and get ready. That's one thing the Spectre need to take advantage of, is not allowing them to have that time. Right now, it's allowing the Shadow to almost get an opportunity there. That's a great bump by them, and they're going to keep this offensive pressure on. Rainy Day trying to keep it down, but Maniac's going to get this one out. He's going to try and create a play here for the Spectre. He's got the middle open, almost just enough time for the Shadow to get that save, as they're going to get this ball cleared out.
I liked Jordan making that push to kind of slam into the back of the net and try and finish that shot. They did have time to do that, and that's the aggression that the Spectre need to have here. I will say we are ticking down to the final 90 seconds, and it is still scoreless, Riley, as the Spectre are now attacking. It's going to be a great 50 there by Rainy Day. Maniac trying to put one back on, does end up hitting crossbar. Biscuit putting that one on the crossbar as well, and the shot accuracy from the Spectre is just not where it needs to be here in this game too.
Yeah, it just seems like they are ever so slightly off on all their shots. It's not like, oh yeah, we're just hitting the sidewall or hitting the backboard. They're hitting the crossbar. They are hitting the post. If you just change the angle of your car ever so slightly, that ball is going in. That is something that I know they're going to get fixed here. They just need to keep it up just a little bit longer. They've got 45 seconds to win this game in regulation. And I mean, we're still sitting at 0-0. This is the type of game that I was hoping to see for the entirety of this series.
And I do like the aggression that I'm starting to see out of the Spectre. They're really being quick on their offensive rotations. They just do have to be careful. Otherwise, they're going to run into what we saw in game 1 with that first goal being scored by the Shadow just right over the top of them. Or, sorry, that wasn't the first goal. That was like the second or third. But either way, they just have to be careful not to get beat over the top as Maniac, speaking of beating over the top, gets a fantastic shot over the top of one of the Shadow's defenders. And that is going to be the first goal of the game with just 20 seconds left to play here.
Yeah, Maniac just made sure that he wasn't too fast to that ball. Managed to slow himself down a little bit as Biscuit knocked that ball from the corner to the midfield. Perfectly placed right over the defenders. And they've just got to hang on here for the next 20 seconds and get the win. Bring it into game 3 as an even 1-1 in the series.
Rainy Day trying to rain on the parade of the Spectre here. Tried to get some offense going, but unfortunately Biscuit says no sir and turns it away. Jordan. Good 50 at the midfield. Last couple seconds starting to tick down here. Rainy Day trying to drop down to Haim game. Ball still in the air. Biscuit has a chance to get the golden goal here, but no. Does go off the backboard. Kept alive here by the Shadow. Rainy Day in the corner. Jordan opting to just try and drop that one down to the ground, but Haim Day keeps it alive. Hold space. Up in the air. Rainy Day downfield looking for the shot. Rainy Day gets it. The 0-second goal for overtime.
Wow. Biscuit with just went forward when he needed to stay back, and all the Shadow needed to do was a quick little passing play. And just like that, we are tied up in overtime after the 0-second goal by the Shadow. And this is incredible to see, as we're gonna get a chance to see which team is gonna come out here and prove that they're in the right mindset to run away with this series potentially. As another mistake by the Shadow is going to lead to a goal by Biscuit, as there was an open net, and that 0-second goal by the Shadow unfortunately was for naught, as the Spectre are going to take this one in game number 2.
And that's just about how it goes. You know, it's always the epic 0-second goals that end up not even resulting in a good win. It's the same thing as with, you know, the This Is Rocket League Justin goal. They end up losing in that overtime anyways, but still a fantastic effort by the Shadow there at the end. Just like you were saying, some unfortunate defensive mistakes resulting in a very, very quick overtime goal by the Spectre. Before they scored, I was getting ready to say that the Shadow had all kinds of momentum. It would not have surprised me to see the Shadow end up coming away with that Game 2 victory, but the Spectre able to steal that one away there at the end. Look at the shot totals for these two teams. The Shadow only getting 3 total shots on goal, one of those being that 0-second goal, but the Spectre with 11 shots throughout the course of the game. Now here's the kicker. 11 shots, only 2 of them find the back of the net, and there are about 7 shots that were saved by the Shadow. So there's 3 or 4 shots that are kind of unaccounted for from the Spectre's offense, and that's really where they're having their issue. That's showing the breakdown in that accuracy.
Yeah, I mean, that accuracy, like I said during the game, you know, they hit the post, they hit the crossbar a couple times. That's where those couple unaccounted shots where they had chances to get a couple more goals, that if they had just put the ball in a slightly better spot, like literally maybe an inch more into the net, and that's going in. So they just need to work on their accuracy. They need to get their accuracy down. They need to keep their rotations short up, and most of all, they just need to not make a very illogical push there when there are 0 seconds on the clock. Otherwise, we're going to see another 0-second goal by the Shadow.
It's the accuracy, and I really want to start seeing some more team play and passing. Like, I'll be honest, the issue that I'm starting to see as the series goes on from the Spectre is it's not really a lack of communication so much as it's a lack of effective communication. They just seem like they have trouble knowing where each other are, where their opponents are, and what they're trying to do with the ball. Like, they'll make a touch on the ball, but their teammates may not have exactly a great idea of what's going to happen with it once it's touched, as Maniac tries to get a 50 there, but Rainy Day ends up sending that back towards the Spectre side. So I'd like to see a little bit of improvement in the communication on the Spectre side, and the passing plays definitely are something they have to work on to break through this iron defense that the Shadow have set up.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing some great passing plays by the Shadow out of their own end, and even on the Spectre side of the field. So if the Spectre can get their own passing plays going, if they can get their offensive pressure to mount accurate shots, then we're going to see some good goals come from the Spectre. They just need to keep up what they started to do there in Game 2. And the Shadow, they just need to keep that defense on lock like they were doing for pretty much the entire series up to this point.
Jordan getting a touch out of the corner. 0 boost to his name to be able to follow. So Rainy Day trying to get some offense going here for the Shadow early in Game 3. Hold space. Laying it towards the left wing corner. Biscuit actually with a miss there, leaving it up to Jordan. Hold space getting a demo on the Maniac. This could be a chance for the Shadow, but Rainy Day just too fast on the challenge. Tried to receive the pass there, but unfortunately was moving a little bit too quickly to dunk it in. Hold space. Kind of doinks that off the top of Maniac, with Biscuit's there to respond on the goal line. Jordan, 0 boost to his name. Decent 50 with Rainy Day there. Center from Biscuit, but again, Jordan low on boost, not able to react. Maniac kind of playing a little passive on his own goal line, which is fine because there's still over half the game left to play. But the Spectre are definitely having an issue getting out of their own half here as Jordan finally sends one towards the Shadow side of the field.
Oh man, if Jordan had been able to turn just a little bit faster, that could have been a goal as Maniac had 50 that perfectly over to him. The Spectre, they're starting to get things figured out as Biscuit's going to miss this ball, and it's dangerous. You know, I've seen a lot of physical play come from the Spectre here as this game's thrown on. I've seen Maniac get bumped several times by Rainy Day specifically, including a demo or two, as Aim Game's going to get a demo on Biscuit. This aggressiveness is going to keep the Spectre from being able to get the shots that they managed to get last game. I mean, they are only at 3 shots right now as Jordan gets demoed by Rainy Day. But Biscuit and Maniac, well, Maniac's just going to head back. I thought maybe he was going to turn up field and help Biscuit out, as Biscuit's got a chance to drop this down as he's got Jordan low. Jordan puts this on target, but it gets knocked away, but Maniac comes in, slots it in, and Spectre have the lead 1-0 here, 2 minutes to go in the game.
And there's where those tight, aggressive, offensive pushes from the Spectre really pays off. They were just able to just continuously throw bodies at the ball until eventually they were able to find an opening there. So it paid off for them there. But remember, it can go back on them if they end up getting beat over the top. Just right there, they had a very, very good job. Did a very good job keeping that one on. Ooh, that could have been dangerous for the Shadow as Hold Space sends that one away, but not quite far enough as the Spectre still have offensive possession here on the Shadow side. Rainy Day, a little bit of a soft touch. Haim Game trying to help him out towards the wall. Able to push this one towards the left wing corner for the Spectre. Jordan not quite able to follow, so Hold Space is able to throw this one towards the back wall. Demo from Rainy Day onto Jordan, takes away one of the defenders, but unfortunately the Spectre doing just fine with the 2 other players they had on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, they're managing to withstand a flurry of demos that keep coming, but this is where things are rough because he just overcommitted, but Biscuit managed to have enough boost to get back on time and get this ball clear as he's going to get a light pinch over Rainy Day, still on the ball. He's got teammates middle, but not enough boost to get it over to them. Maniac's on his own for a minute. Aim Game can try and center this for a teammate. Maniac with a good clear as Rainy Day is actually going to hit this back onto his own side. But we're starting to see, you know, a lot of offensive pressure from the Spectre, and it almost came back to bite them, like you were saying earlier. You know, you get a little too aggressive, and it can just get hit right over your head.
I will say one of the things we haven't really had a chance to touch on yet is that was a little bit of an overcommit from the Shadow, but luckily Haim Game is able to get back on it. The boost management from the Shadow this game in particular has been phenomenal. It seems like every time I zoom onto a Spectre player, they have almost no boost, except for Jordan, who is finally able to get the double tap off the backboard. What a shot there from Jordan as I'm talking about not having enough boost.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about them not having enough boost, and then there's Jordan with like 60 in the tank as he goes up for that. And he didn't even have to boost into that ball for the double tap. He just boosted up into the air, let go, and let himself fall into it for a perfect double tap as they take the 2-0 lead with 20 seconds to go. But who knows what's going to happen because the Shadow have already scored a 0-second goal. They might be looking to get 2 real quick.
And that last goal kind of unfortunately was the Shadow taking the wrong page out of the Spectre playbook. They end up playing a little bit too far forward, and Jordan's able to punish them with that double tap. 5 seconds left to go here, and it does look like it's going to be the Spectre taking game 3 here. That's going to be 2 games in a row for the Spectre as we get ready to go into game 4. The Shadow have a chance to send us into game 5 without the series being decided. But on the other side, the Spectre have a chance here in game 4 to decide the series here and force the Shadow to either concede and take away, okay, fine, we're losing the series and potentially have a chance to win another game. Or the Shadow could push it into game 5 and we go into game 5 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, the Shadow, they definitely have the capability of doing that. I mean, they came out with another 7 saves in this game. But difference is, the Spectre, they just put everything on target. You know, they had 9 shots, 3 from Maniac, 3 from Jordan, and 3 from Biscuit. It didn't matter who was shooting the ball. It was on target. And either a Shadow defender made the save, or they just weren't able to get to the ball and it ended up being a goal. And you got to see that from the Spectre. Their accuracy was on point this game. They had a lot of great shots. Shadow just came out with some really good defense, but it wasn't enough because they couldn't get any offense going themselves. They only had 3 shots. And the Spectre, they need to keep this up if they want to win this series in this next game.
Well, and that's the second game in a row that the Shadow have been held to only 3 shots. And again, a lot of that's coming down to the midfield control that the Spectre are able to hold for most of the game. Like, the Shadow get good midfield control, but they're not able to hold on to it for long enough for it to actually matter. The Spectre are holding that midfield for 2-3 minutes of the game. And that's why the Shadow are barely able to get anything going. Now, when the Shadow are able to get offense going, they're a lot more effective with their offense than the Spectre are usually. But that game, the Spectre definitely did a fantastic job of shutting down all the passing lanes and really make sure the Shadow weren't able to get anything done, as Rainy Day was looking for a double, ends up passing it off the backboard, but unfortunately that one gets sent wide by Hold Space.
Yeah, it was a good little attempt there by the Shadow. They had a good chance to score, but it did go wide. And now we got a chance for the Spectre to maybe start their own little counterattack, but what a bump there by the Shadow to get Biscuit out of the way, prevent any chance at a shot by Biscuit. As Rainy Day and the Shadow look to put on some more pressure, some good defense there coming from the Spectre, as they did not allow that ball to get centered even slightly, as Maniac pushing up the side. Got in-game in an awkward spot. Rainy Day has to jump up for that, and Biscuit unable to get the touch. This one's dropping down. This could be a goal, but it is denied by Ham Game. Maniac puts it on target, and it is in the net. The Spectre take the early lead again here in Game 4.
And once again, the offensive rotations for the Spectre paying off here. Biscuit was trying to get some pressure on. Maniac is able to be there and just catches Hold Space out of position. So again, the aggression pays off for the Spectre, but I still have that giant asterisk there because we've seen it break down for them. We've seen that aggression go against them. The Shadow just have to start capitalizing it. It just looks like the Shadow haven't been able to capitalize on the Spectre's mistakes as well as they did in Game 1 since Game 1. Like Games 2 and 3, they just weren't capitalizing quite as well. Maybe they're able to turn that around here in Game 4, but there's still so much of the game left to play here, Riley. It is anybody's game at this point.
Yeah, I mean, in Game 1, they just seemed to punish the Spectre at every turn. Any mistake was going into the Spectre net. But since then, it's been hard for them to even get any pressure on the Spectre net, aside from like 2 or 3 instances every game. Right now, they've got a chance here. They do have possession, they do have a chance. Their Hold Space is going to put this off the corner and the post. Aim Game managed to land there perfectly and get the goal in and get us all tied up here. 3.5 to go here in Game 4.
This is great recovery from Haim Game, but the way the post bounces is so beneficial for the Shadow there because it unfortunately has that Spectre defender. I didn't quite catch who that was. Ends up going flying by the ball and just leaving it wide open for Haim Game. But the way it bounces off the post is one thing, but that recovery from Haim Game was phenomenal to be able to park himself right there, as that's a shot on by Hold Space, turned away by Biscuit.
Yeah, Rainy Day actually almost had the bump on Biscuit. He went for a high IQ read on the player instead of the ball, and it almost paid off. Biscuit does drop that down, but Rainy Day, he's showing up in this game right now, getting a lot of good saves, getting a lot of good offensive pressure, some good plays. That one's going to bounce over in-game. The Spectre, they're getting some bumps in. They're getting a lot of pressure again, but right now it's just not amounting to any real threat by them, as they're being outshot 4-2 by the Shadow so far. So the Shadow, they've already outshot themselves in the last 2 games halfway through this game.
As we approach the halfway point of this game, I do want to point out again that Rainy Day is the lowest salary on the field, but right now I feel like he's the most effective player on the field. He's not sitting towards the top of the leaderboards often. He is there right now, but he is exactly where the Shadow need him to be when they need him to be there. He's making the saves. He's making those shots. Obviously, he got that clutch 0-second goal to take it to overtime in Game 2. So he is definitely overplaying his salary, as that was a shot on by Biscuit. Goes off the crossbar. Jordan tried to put one on, but saved away by Haim Game. The Spectre offensive attack is trying everything they can to throw this into the Shadow net, but the Shadow are finally able to break it over the midfield line. Jordan, 0 boost to his name. Not going to quite be able to follow this one, so Game gets a chance to put it towards the left wing corner. Maniac out towards midfield. Gets a nice dunk over the top of one. Looked for the second, but wasn't quite able to get it as Biscuit tries to send it mid. Rainy Day actually ends up touching that one over the top of Game. Again, a little bit of a miscommunication from the Shadow. It looked like they're on offense, but for the last 90 seconds here, Riley, it's going to be interesting to see who ends up prevailing here.
I mean, right now, I feel like all the momentum in the game is on the Shadow's side as they just seem to have possession of the ball left and right. Jordan trying to drop this down to Maniac. Maniac denied by Game, but Biscuit's going to go up, and he overshoots that big time as Shadow are going to take this downfield. Rainy Day got a flip reset and just kind of hung around in the air for a little bit. But Shadow are just continuing to put pressure on the net. This ball was centered dangerously by Jordan, I believe, and that is something you got to watch out for, because if you center that and a Shadow player is waiting, which they may be waiting next time, that would have been an easy goal for them.
Hold space, trying to play some corner defense here, receives a nice pass, but unfortunately not able to put that one on target. So we see the Shadow trying to get those passing plays back going together again, but the Spectre are just right there in the passing lanes every single time. Game getting a nice demo onto Jordan, takes away one of the attackers, there's the word I'm looking for, from the Spectre. Jordan puts this one up towards the backboard. Game going up early, does end up missing it, but hold space is down to help him out there off the goal line. This is a pass here from Maniac to Biscuit, gets turned away by Game. We're going to see Rainy Day trying to play this one towards the net. 13 seconds left on the clock here in Game 4. Still all tied up. Could this be the second overtime of the series? Game saving this one away. Jordan trying to keep it in contention for his teammates. Jordan on the back line. That was a shot potentially by Rainy Day. That ball is going to find grass, and Riley, we're going to overtime once again.
Yes, we are. We had overtime in game number 2 off a 0-second goal. This one a little less exciting as we're just going to overtime here in game 4. But Spectre looking to get another overtime win as Maniac's can get beat, but Jordan clears this upfield to Maniac. Maniac off the back wall. Jordan was there, but denied by the defense of the Shadow, which has been on point almost the entire series as they again have eclipsed the 7-save mark in the 3rd straight game for them as a team. It's incredible to see this defense at work.
Well, one other thing I want to point out is that the last couple of games, we've seen the Shadow held to only 3 shots. This game, they only have 5, so they've improved it from 3, but they're still being held to very, very, very low shot totals as the Spectre have 9 to their name right now. That almost had a chance to go in there, but was saved away by the Spectre. Game caught out of position. Is he going to catch up with it? No! That is going to be Biscuit throwing that one down. That's going to be a 2-1 victory for the Spectre in Game 4.
And you just got to watch out for those 50s in the corner. Typically, if you're on offense, going for a 50 in a corner is going to end a little better. Not in that case. That ball just went flying over to the Shadow side of the field and into their net as the Spectre are going to take this series 3-1. But as we say every time here at Minor League Esports, we always play 5 games because every game matters.
Yeah, and this last game could matter significantly for the Shadow. There's a huge difference between losing a series 4-1 and losing a series 3-2, especially when it comes down to playoff points. I do not have the standings sitting in front of me right now, so I'm not sure exactly where the Shadow are sitting. But either way, 2 games won in this series is significantly better for them than 1 when it comes to getting into the postseason.
I mean, right now, the Shadow... Coming into this, we're sitting 3rd in the Orange Conference, and the Spectre were sitting 7th. And right now, the Spectre are up 3-1. So if they can take this, they put themselves in great position to be, a top 5, top 4 team heading into the middle of the season.
And that's another thing to take into account. The Spectre being as low in the conference as they were, the more games they win, the better, because it helps them move up. But the Shadow also have a chance here to not only save some face and make the damage, stop the bleeding a little bit for them, they have a chance to kind of keep the Spectre down away from them a little bit and keep them as far down the conference ladder as they can as we start heading into the postseason. So this is a massive Game 5. Even though the series has been decided, this Game 5 still has lots of implications to it here for the Shadow and the Spectre. I think this is going to be one exciting game, Riley.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of fireworks. We've seen a couple overtimes. We've seen a 0-second goal. What else are we going to have thrown at us? Are we going to have another own goal by either of the teams? Because we've already seen one of those as well. as you can expect from a Spectre game.
Jordan trying to collect that one out of the left wing side. Biscuit tries to put a shot on, saved away by Game. Hold space. Looking to collect this one, gets a nice flick over the top of Maniac, but Jordan's there to collect it before they're able to do anything dangerous. Game getting an unfortunate touch off the wall. Jordan has a chance here, and he's able to get it past Rainy Day. What a shot from Jordan, but it all starts with such an unfortunate touch from Game.
Yeah, Game just got stuffed there on the side by the wall, and Jordan took advantage. He took his time. He got that ball going towards the far post, and Maniac faked like he was going to slam that into the net. And that really threw off the defender there. And just like that, Spectre are up 1-0 early again in another game as Biscuit has a chance but gets denied by Sarah Holdspace. Rainy Day going up there early to beat Jordan as he does. They're just trying to get a little bit of offense going here because, as we've seen in the last 3 games, they just have not been able to get any sort of consistent offense on this Spectre team. But defensively, they've just been stout.
And it's really been since about the halfway point of game 2 that the Spectre have just planted a flag at the midfield and said, we own this line right here. And they have not given any room for the Shadow to get anything done. It's been, what, 3 games in a row? It was 2 games in a row that the Shadow were held to 3 as Maniac puts another shot on there. Fantastic job to push that one through the defenders.
I mean, Jordan managed to get this one to drop down in front of the net. And Sir Holdspace, he knew the shot was coming. He saw it coming, but just wasn't able to get himself quite in the right position. This ball went off of him, went from Maniac off of him into the post and into the net. Unfortunate for the Shadow, given how their defense had been going for those last couple games. But right now, they've allowed 2 of the Spectre's 4 shots to go into the net already, which is very different from the way it had been there in games 2 through 4.
Rainy Day was looking for the reset, but Maniac sends it away before he's able to connect. Jordan playing this one off the wall, getting caught up with Biscuit a little bit. Biscuit going up with the 1-2 change up, but not quite able to turn that one into points. Game collecting it. Rainy Day taking it from right underneath him. Almost had enough power to go in, but was saved away by Jordan, who ends up getting demoed for his troubles. Jordan off the corner, down towards mid. Game waiting. Maniac tries to send that one out and is successful, as that was a missed touch there by one of the Shadow players trying to keep that one in offense. Great 50 from Jordan there at the midfield line, and that's that midfield control that I'm talking about that the Spectre have that's really making it difficult for the Shadow to get any offense going.
Yeah, it seems like every time the Shadow has a chance at offense, ball just gets cleared away or it gets just 50 back to midfield. And even when it's on the Shadow's side of the field, Biscuit almost gets the read, just kind of ran out of boost there. It just seems like there's always a Spectre player there, but there's no one here this time.
Ooh,
Maniac makes the save of the game, probably the save of the series, and the demo by Jordan is going to result in a goal for the Spectre. I thought that was in. I thought the Shadow were going to make this a 1-goal game, and next thing you know, it's the Spectre going down the field the other way.
That save has a chance at play of the week, I think. I think the 2 plays of the week we've seen so far this series was the 0-second goal from Rainy Day and that save there from Maniac, which ends up resulting in points for the Spectre. If you guys think that that was worthy, clip it, ship it, and whoever ends up winning play of the week this week could win themselves a case of Balls Guarana, as play of the week is brought to you by our friends at Balls Guarana. So if you think that was worthy of it, because I definitely do, definitely clip it and ship that one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, an unfortunate double commit on the defense by the Shadow. I wonder if one of them took out the other, because that was very uncharacteristic as both defenders came flying out.
Oh!
Yeah. Oh, my. Spectre are up 4-0, and things just seem to be unraveling here for the Shadow. You know, when you lose a series, at this point, it's just damage control, but right now, it just seems like there's a fire that's just never going to be put out.
The Spectre have all the momentum on their side. The Shadow have none going for them right now. It's like you said, they're really just on damage control here. And there is a point where it's the end of the series. They've already lost 3 games in a row. You know, it could kind of be getting into their heads a little bit. That's why we're maybe seeing a little bit more misplays now than we have throughout the rest of the series. But 90 seconds left. There is still some time here for the Shadow to make something happen. But Riley, they are very quickly running out of that time.
Oh, yeah, I mean, really, you need to be scoring at least every 25 seconds, in my personal opinion here. They are not getting that done, as Spectre are back on the offense. Biscuit had a chance. Gonna miss the flip reset that could have really set him up beautifully. Rainy Day with a great pinch. And that ball is going to get set right back down to the shadow goal as Jordan has a chance to score here. Biscuit is going to play this out of the corner as it's cleared out by Sir Hold Space. He's going to grab corner boost and he's going to try and get a demo, but Jordan doesn't fall for that and just stays low. Playing the way we know he can. Very intelligent as Maniac puts another shot on target. I mean, the Spectre just kind of holding the shadow on their own end and throwing as many shots on goal as they can to try and put this game away.
And as we start ticking down to the final 45 seconds, it is looking pretty much wrapped up for the Spectre here in this series. They're in very solid position to take a very, very well-deserved 4-1 victory over the Shadow. Now, again, we said this series had a chance to be close, and the games individually were close, but the Spectre just every time ended up coming out even better than the Shadow. This time, the Shadow getting more shots than they've had in the game over the course of the last couple of games as Maniac tried to get another one for the road there, but was turned away, and then Biscuit tried to follow up as well. So the defense from the Shadow is still holding here. Rainy Day trying to come off the ceiling, but Jordan slotting it between both players there. Biscuit trying to make something potentially happen here, looking for a 0-second goal, but that is going to find grass, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be your ML Spectre taking the series 4-1.
Yeah, that was a great job. You know, we saw things be really rough there in game one, but they managed to turn things around there in the back half of game one, getting some good goals, you know, 2 very nice goals to get some momentum to bring into game 2. And, you know, we saw some great plays that, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if either of them ends up being play of the week. You know, that 0-second goal by Rainy Day off the pass to send it to overtime was phenomenal. It was great play by the Shadow. But what really, really caught both of our eyes, I think everyone at home, was that incredible recovery and save by Maniac to get that ball out of there when that should have easily been a Shadow goal. It was some great play from both these teams. Spectre, very well-deserved win. Shadow, they put up a good fight. They were never out of any game. Just they were not able to keep up.
Yeah, when you go back and look at this series and you see that 4-1 result, it looks like a blowout, but it really wasn't. Every single game was right down to the end, except for that game 5. That one the Spectre pretty much ran away with. But again, phenomenal effort from both teams. The Shadow still in decent standing, by the way. We're only halfway through the season, so it isn't like this is killing their playoff chances or anything. But, you know, the Spectre definitely have helped themselves out here a little bit. 2 potential play of the week candidates coming out of that series. But Riley, I think that is going to do it for us here in this series. We do have one final series coming up after this one. We're going to be capping the night off with some Foundation League standard between the Dodgers and the Outlaws. Everybody in the audience, stay right there. We will be right back after the break.